I'm Lynn Durham, the CEO and founder of STALICLA. The idea that is being promoted by REPO for You is really the vision that clinical translation can happen faster and better through system medicine-based approaches and leveraging on drug repurposing and drug repositioning. And this is very much aligned with what we're doing at STALICLA, specifically in the field of CNS, central nervous system, and notably neuropsychiatric disorders and neurodevelopmental disorders. The core scientific principles, systems medicine and drug repositioning, have allowed us to establish STALICLA as a discovery company and then a clinical stage company. So we have what we call the Discovery and Data Science Unit based here in Barcelona. It's constituted by a team of about 20 computational biologists, human geneticists, chemoinformaticians, and developers who have been the inventors of STALICLA DPI platform, which basically leverages on data that we've collected throughout the world in our collaboration with clinicians specialized in autism and in neurodevelopmental disorders to extract data and information and make sense out of this information. You know that historically, neuropsychiatric disorders have been classified based on behavioral observation only, which offers very little insight into the underlying biology, and which is not an adequate starting point for drug development because drugs are all about biology. So basically, one of the foundational ideas behind STALICLA was to say, how do we adapt the concept of precision medicine that originally stemmed in oncology to psychiatry? Problem is, in psychiatry, is that you can't really biopsy a living brain, okay? And so we built a framework that allows us to circumvent that limitation to be able to start biologically stratifying these patients. And you start seeing when you apply data analysis and now more efficient AI approaches, you start identifying associations at higher rates than would be expected by chance in clusters of symptoms that increase the probability that you're dealing with a population that is not identical but more homogeneous, meaning that the way that we're clustering neuropsychiatric patients and patients with autism is by acknowledging that they are usually complex patients with additive risk variants. We know that genetics are the main driver in neuropsychiatric disorders, but we also know that a lot of these clusters converge at the pathway level. I always say, because STALICLA is a mission-driven company, that if you want to serve patients, you have to be pragmatic, okay? And being pragmatic means that there needs to be a potential return that will compete with the classical return that is expected from investors in biotech. I mean, our core foundational team at STALICLA are scientists who have very strong ties with the neurodevelopmental disorder community and said, we want 21st century medicine for our families and the wider community. And if we want to make it work, we have to frame it in a way that is compatible with the cost of drug development and that is attractive to investors. So IP is absolutely foundational here. Systems medicine approaches, complex disease approaches, network medicine, all this we applied in an industrial setting to make it appealing to investors and to be able to move our programs into the clinic. So it's really an example of what can be done, starting with systems medicine, repurposing approaches, taking into account the importance of intellectual property, a realistic economic framework, and translating this into clinical advancements to change a space.